have you on our program today, Newspapers Today. My name is Kayode Adebayo. Yes, let me first of all run through the newspapers that are available for review this morning. First, I have with me here the Vanguard newspaper. I also have the Punch newspaper with me. Daily Sun is also here. Then I have the Nation newspaper. The News Direct is also here. Then I have the Guardian newspaper. The Nation is also here. Then I have the Blueprint. I also have the New Telegraph. Then I have this day newspaper with me here. Leadership is also here. Then I have the Daily Sun newspaper, and lastly I have with me here Daily Times newspaper. Let me quickly run through the headlines before we begin the review proper. So on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, Naira redesign, only old 200 Naira notes reissued, CBN insists. Then on the front page of the Punch newspaper, I have this one, Naira crisis, cash-strapped Nigerians bank on Supreme Court as hearing resumes today. Then on the front page of the Daily Sun newspaper, heavy security at INEC offices. Then on the front page of the Nation newspaper, I have this headline, political related stories. Colorful roadshow draws curtain on Tinubu's campaign. Then on the front page of the News Direct newspaper, Naira redesign crisis worsens as APC presidential campaign cancel. El-Rufai, 2 others battle federal government. Then on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper, 3 days to Saturday polls. The die is cast. Buhari CSOs boost Tinubu's chances. Then on the front page of the New Telegraph, 72 hours to election, CBN settles INEC's ad hoc staff payments. Then I have another one on the front page of this day newspaper. UK, Jonathan, Archbishop of Canterbury, appeal for violence-free fair elections. Then on the front page of the Leadership newspaper, 2023 elections, vote where you are, Northern Elders, Ohanese tell Nigerians. Then on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, Supreme Court order, APC governors file contempt action against Malami Emefiele. So those are the headlines as we have them in the newspapers today. My guest is here with me in the house, a regular guest. Citizen Lolawe, you are welcome on the program today.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Yeah. How's the family?
We're doing fine, except for the Naira crunch.
Okay. Yeah, let's start with the Vanguard newspaper. Insist.
Yes, and that is causing a lot of pains for Nigerians because we can't access. We have the old 500 Naira notes. We have the old 1,000 Naira notes. We do not have access to the new currency, to the new 200 Naira notes. Neither do we have access to the new 500 Naira note and the new 1,000 Naira notes. So insisting that only the old 2,000 Naira notes should be reissued has not solved the problem. It's like we do not have a government that listens or care about the well-being of its citizens. Laws are made for people. People are not made for laws. So in the interest of the well-being of Nigerians, one would have expected the government and the governor of Central Bank to revisit the issue of the redesigned Naira policy and look at the implementation strategy. How can they improve on it to make life easy for millions of Nigerians that are stranded? I am stranded. And I know in a lot of people that are equally stranded because of the currency redesign. It has inflicted a lot of pains. Many people have died because they didn't have cash to get the drugs they need to remain alive. So many businesses have died. Those who deal in perishable goods are already out of business. Those in poultry business, those in fish farming who have to feed their stock on daily basis, who have to access. It is not everybody that is present that has been captured by the cashless policy, because we do not have banks in every community in Nigeria. The infrastructure required to drive the cashless policy is also not available. We do not have stable electricity supply. Telecom services is not regular. It's not stable. So how do you drive cashless policy? Business people are refusing to accept transfers because they do not have confidence in it. It takes time. So it is only people who have trust in who wants to transfer money to them that accept transfer.
All right. Now let's move to the Punch newspaper for a related story. Naira crisis. Cash-strapped Nigerians bank on Supreme Court as hearing resumes today.
That is true. I am looking forward to what the Supreme Court is going to say today.
Okay.
And I'm also looking forward to see how the federal government of Nigeria will react to that. Because last week, the Supreme Court gave an order that 200, the old 200, the old 500, and the 1,000 naira notes remain legal tender. So I was shocked when the president came out to say that only the 200 naira remain a legal tender. Nigeria is not a banana republic. We must, if any government that is not run by the rule of law is I don't know. I don't know how to describe that kind of government. A government that does not care about the pains that the citizens are going through. He's definitely not a kind one. Does not, whatever policy you give must have a human face. The protest that took place in Delta claimed 3 lives. Only God knows how many people have also been killed in the protests that have rocked this nation since this crisis began. And yet, you remain unmoved. But I'm looking forward to see what the Supreme Court is going to say about the redesign, the decision to render the old 200 naira notes, the 500 naira notes, and the 1,000 naira notes valueless, useless, because I kept my own old 1,000 naira notes based on what the Supreme Court said. If I'm law abiding and the government is not, then that means the government is asking us to become, once they want to turn the country into a lawless one, where the rule of law will hold no water. And that is asking for chaos. I do not know what the intention of this government is.
All right. Okay. Let's move to the News Direct newspaper for a related story. Naira redesign crisis worsens as APC, PCC, El-Rufai, 2 others battle federal government.
Yes, I support them and I salute their courage, because the action of Mr. President is nothing but an affront. A content, nothing but, it's not short of content of court. The Supreme Court gave an order and you went against it. No one is above the law. And did you wait for the outcome of the Supreme Court? You wait for the ruling of the Supreme Court on it to lead Nigerians by example.
Example, yeah.
You want us to obey the rule of law. You want us to obey court orders that you disobey at will. You choose which one to obey and which one to disobey. And you now expect citizens to obey. That's not going to happen.
Okay, let's move to the Guardian newspapers now. Supreme Court order. APC governors file contempt action against Malami Emefiele.
They should. I support that action.
Okay.
And I'm waiting to see the outcome of the challenge.
Okay.
Because what the governor of Central Bank and Mr. President has done is unprecedented.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Now let's go to political stories. Now I'm starting from the Nation newspaper. Colorful roadshow draws curtain on Tinubu's campaign.
Yeah, I saw on the telly what took place in Lagos State yesterday.
Okay.
I hope that translates into victory for him.
Okay.
I wish him and all other contestants the very best of luck.
Okay.
I only hope that Nigerians will not vote based on sentiments, based on religious and ethnic sentiments, but we based on the capability, the competence, the character, and the track record of the people concerned. What have they done? How have they touched lives?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's move to the Blueprint newspapers now. 3 days to Saturday polls. The die is cast. Buhari CSOs boost Tinubu's chances.
I wish him the very best of luck.
All right. Now, I'm now on a New Telegraph newspaper now. 72 hours to election. CBN settles INEC's ad hoc staff payments.
Yes, it's good that they have settled INEC ad hoc staff payments.
Yeah.
But what about the electorate? Will they have money to move from where they are today to where they registered? Some registered in their hometowns, but are residents in the urban centers.
Okay.
How will they vote on Saturday?
Okay.
CBN should also consider that.
Okay.
200 million Nigerians, 93 million Nigerians registered to vote. Okay. What percentage of this will be affected by cash crunch?
All right.
What percentage of that number of the 93%, 93 million registered voters will be able to transport themselves to where they registered before this cash crunch to enable them perform their civic responsibility? That should also concern INEC. Unfortunately, we do not have anybody speaking on behalf of the electorate. We have INEC speaking on behalf of its ad hoc staff. But who is speaking on behalf of ordinary Nigerians like me who are stranded? We are cashless. The old Naira notes we have, you have told us, is useless. We do not have access to the new Naira notes. How do we live?
All right. Let's see another story here. Still on New Telegraph newspaper. I won't engage in politics of vendetta. Atiku tells Wike.
Actually, I believe that there shouldn't be politics of bitterness. No Nigerian politician should engage in politics of bitterness. And there's no reason for vendetta. Wike is doing what he believes is right, and you have also done what you believe is right. So,
all right. Now let's move to the this day newspaper. UK, Jonathan, Archbishop of Canterbury, appeal for violence-free fair elections.
I also pray for a violence-free, a free and fair election, so that the election will be credible, so that we'll be able to hold whosoever emerges as a winner accountable. But I only hope that this cash crunch
Okay.
will not constitute an obstacle
All right.
on the way to electing a credible person.
Okay.
And we also not, because we have seen the violence that has rocked this nation,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm hoping that the Supreme Court will do something.
Okay.
We take a decision today.
Okay.
We give a ruling that will douse the tension in the land.
All right.
Because without that tension being doused, so many people will stay away
Okay. Okay.
from voting
All right.
on Saturday for the safety of their lives and property.
All right. Now to leadership newspaper now. 2023 elections. Vote where you are. Northern Elders or RNC tell Nigerians.
I think that advice is coming rather too late. You should have been registered where you are for election. But if I register somewhere else and you are telling me to vote where I am, you are simply telling me not to vote. So that advice ought to have come at the time Nigerians were registering to participate in this election.
Okay.
If they had registered where they are, then you can now tell them, vote where you are.
Okay.
But for people who didn't register where they are presently residents, and you ask them to vote where they are, I don't think that advice is useful.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm now on Daily Sun newspaper. Heavy security at INEC offices.
Yes, because we have seen, and that's why I'm hoping that there wouldn't be violence on the day of election and after the election, because the level of violence that has rocked this nation, that has affected some local government offices are still being burnt.
Okay.
INEC offices are being burnt. Police stations are being burnt. So there is actually a need to beef up security at INEC offices, to ensure that the election it takes place according to plans.
Okay. Okay.
But will there be that kind of heavy security at every polling unit, where violence may break out? Because a hungry man is an angry man. And that is why I hope and pray that the Supreme Court will come up with a ruling, a definite ruling on this issue that will douse the tension in the land.
All right. Okay. Now let's move to the Daily Times newspaper now. 3 days to polls. There are attempts to subvert Nigeria's democratic process. UK government alleges.
If you go by what we see, the number of INEC offices that have been attacked, the number of police stations that have been attacked nationwide, we agree that yes, there are attempts to subvert the democratic process in Nigeria. And those that are behind it are not our friends. They are the enemies of this nation. They are the enemies of the ordinary people. Because it is only through an election process that we can change the leadership of this country. We don't want an interim government. It will do nobody any good. It will do no one any good. So we want a government that we can hold accountable, to say, you gave us, you made this promise to us. Fulfill your promise. So we should, Nigerians, at this point say, Nigerians also should give useful information to the security agencies so that they can act in good time. Because these people who are planning this mayhem live within us. They are our brothers and our sisters. We know them. We see them when they meet. We hear them when they talk. We know what they are talking about. So we should, in our own interests, expose them by giving useful information to the necessary security agencies and to appropriate people. And I also want to implore the members of this security agency that they should please necessary danger, because that is the major reasons Nigerians don't give useful information when they should.
Yeah.
You give information, but because of corruption, some people abuse their privileged positions and expose the identity of the people who have provided them with information. So if we want Nigerians to give useful information, we must ensure that their safety is not compromised.
Okay. All right. Now, let's see this story before we round up. Above the nameplate of the Daily Times newspaper, 7.143 trillion naira budget deficit. Federal government gets 1 trillion naira for budget financing.
It's in fact, I don't want to think about the Nigerian economy until this EU about Naira redesign is over. Because it's a serious issue. We may not have a country if it is not properly resolved. At the rate at which violence is rocking this nation.
Okay.
So it's not about getting money to finance the budget or the deficit, because Nigeria, we are already living in serious pains. The foreign reserve is depleting on daily basis, because Nigerians now are using the dollar.
Okay.
Yes, since they can't access the naira, they now resort to using the dollar, which is depleting our foreign reserve. And then when buying and selling is also not taking place in the economy, what are we talking about? When people cannot feed themselves, when people who have money in banks have been turned to beggars, when you now have to pay more for goods and services because you want to transfer money, because you want to patronize the POS operator. The other day, an elder statesman, Mr. Robert Clark, shared his own personal experience on national telly, that he paid 120,000 for 100,000 naira because he couldn't access cash in the bank, which means he bought 100,000 naira with 120,000 naira. He lost 20,000 naira to somebody who made a gain of 20,000 naira out of his pains. So we are living in serious pains. That is what we want government to look at and resolve now, so that more lives will not be lost.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Citizen Lalawe, for coming on the program today. Our time is fast spent, and we have to draw the curtain on the program now. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. God bless you, and I pray that Supreme Court will give a ruling that will favor us, the ordinary citizens of Nigeria, who are the ones suffering, feeling the impact of this cash crunch.
All right, thank you very much. Viewers, at this we are going to draw the curtain on the program for today. Tomorrow is another day where you meet another of my colleagues on the program Newspapers Today. Until then, bye-bye.